Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today is Monday, July 23rd, 2018, and we are going to do another video about the Grand Solar Minimum. Let's start out with away from the United States, what's going on globally, and then I'm going to bring it home and talk about what's happening here in the United States, and then also about where I'm at on the west coast of the US. So, first, what's going on globally? In Iran, there's a 5.9 earthquake that hit yesterday. This did do damage locally. It said agency is reporting a depth of 5 miles on this. The EMSC is reporting depth of 6.2 miles. A yellow alert was issued for shaking-related fatalities. There are 2,870,000 people living within 62 miles of the earthquake, and then there's less than 1,000 of them that live between 1.2 miles. Some 2,000 people are estimated to have felt very strong shaking. 13,000 felt strong shaking, and it said the quake was followed by a 3.4 and another 3.3 respectively. So they had a couple of quakes. The quake was very shallow and strong enough to cause damage. It was felt in different areas in the Kurdistan region. More than 128 people have been injured. I'll go ahead and keep you updated on these earthquakes as well, and I'll leave a link for this too. Now, tropical storm. We've seen what happened in China, in Beijing. Now, they're also getting another tropical storm, and this one hit Vietnam, damaging and destroying over 5,000 homes, leaving more than 30 dead. Okay, this is an estimation at this time. The tropical storm Santi, the 9th named storm of 2018 Pacific typhoon season, made landfall in northern Vietnam on July 18th, 2018, dropping heavy rain. The storm weakened into a tropical depression after it made landfall, moved over the country, briefly entering Laos and turned back into Vietnam, excited into the Gulf of Tonkin, re-intensified into a tropical storm, and made landfall over western Hainan, China today. Santin is expected to move over Hainan over the next 12 hours, make its final landfall along China-Vietnam border, and continue tracking over Vietnam before it dissipates, bringing more heavy rain and threat of floods and landslides. Heavy rains and flooding cause more than 20 people to die, and 16 are missing in Vietnam. In addition, at least 14 people have been injured. There's a lot of damage here. Crops have been damaged, animals, all kinds of it. You can imagine, right? This is just devastating right here. And it continues as we go on in this Grand Solar Minimum. This will just intensify. Okay, so what has been going on in the United States? Alright, we know it's much of what happens during these Grand Solar Minimums. We do see more droughts in some areas, and then we see very extreme cold in some areas. And I'll tell you at the end, if you haven't known already, why this is all happening. But yes, in California and in Oregon, it is expected to be very hot for this next few weeks. The remainder of July will be dominated by a resurgence of heat across the northwestern U.S. The recent reprieve from the mid-July heat wave in the northwest has come to an end, as the heat intensifying over the southwest will also expand its grip northward. This stretch of heat actually looks to be longer than was experienced in mid-July. After returning on Sunday, the heat could last right through the next weekend. Highs are expected to soar 5 to 15 degrees above normal daily through the final full week of July. Alright, so the opposite is happening on our East Coast. We're seeing record rain and record cooling and record storms. A switch to a cooler weather pattern in the Midwestern U.S. this week. Severe storms to precede cooler air. So if this thing will let me, I can go ahead and read it to you. A switch to a cooler weather pattern in the midwestern U.S. will come at the expense of locally violent thunderstorms prior to the middle of the week. A storm system will zip eastward out of the northern Rockies and into the northern plains, spanning Tuesday afternoon into Wednesday morning, and trigger a round of strong to severe storms. Eastern portions of Wyoming, the Black Hills of South Dakota, and western Nebraska will be at risk of these feisty storms. The primary threats for the storms will be heavy downpours, damaging winds, upwards of 60 miles per hour, and large hail. Now be cautious for this large hail. It is huge, about the size of softballs, and it can do extreme damage, and it could kill you if you are in the way. Make sure to be indoors, and if you are not indoors, go under a vehicle, because these vehicles can protect you from the lightning as well. These lightning storms are no joke. They have definitely increased, and they are they're going to increase as we move deeper into this Grand Solar Minimum. Also from AccuWeather.com, this is detailing how we have rounds of rainfall escalate flood concerns in the eastern U.S. this week. Yes, that is for sure. Right here, let's get this up to the top here. If it'll let me. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. This past weekend's rainstorm was only the start of an abnormally wet pattern that will elevate the flood risk in the eastern United States into the end of the month. The rainstorm drenched northern Virginia and Maryland 3 to 7 inches of rain on just Saturday and Saturday night, which triggered flash flooding and stranded vehicles and prompted water rescues and road closures. Baltimore smashed a 131-year-old rainfall record on July 21st as 4.79 inches of rain fell. The previous record was in 1887, and it was only 2.76 inches. So this is 2 inches more than that. In the days following this rainstorm, residents should not expect a return to dry weather that graced the region during the second half of last week. A cycle of daily rounds of showers and thunderstorms is likely to repeat on most days this week. A stream of moisture from the tropical regions of the Atlantic will be directed at the East Coast for much of the week, leading to days of downpours, travel delays, and ruined outdoor plans. Rainfall amounts are likely to run well above normal during this time frame. On average, most areas only see 3 to 4 inches of rain during the month of July. However, this time around, some areas have seen more than twice that amount in just the 3 weeks of this month. Now, why is this all happening? Can anybody tell me? Because of the Grand Solar Minimum. I've noted it before, but during these Grand Solar Minimums, more cosmic rays enter Earth's atmosphere. Why is that? Because our sun is less active. It's emitting less sunspots, and these sunspots make the shield around our Earth, our magnetosphere, that protect us from these cosmic rays. These cosmic rays create storm formation, erratic rainfall, snowstorms, hail, local flooding, and in the long run, global cooling. We add to this earthquakes, volcanoes, lightning, and other electric events, and an enhanced risk for a solar flare that can disrupt our power grid. We've seen all these things happen, and we've seen them intensify, and they are intensifying right now. So just know that this is the Grand Solar Minimum Eddy, and this is expected. These types of things are expected, and I will keep you updated on all of this information. And we all need to get prepared. If you haven't already, get you a prepare kit, food. You need to have shelter plans if your house or apartment gets messed up. You need to have some plans. Thanks a lot for enjoying the channel today. Come back, like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.